Hi, my name is Todd Ross, and in 1996 my father Roy was killed while racing at the Race City Speedway in Calgary. Over the last 24 years, Bruce Hampton, president of the International Motor Contest Associates and its drivers, have put on a memorial race in honor of my father. This year it's at the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin. I'd like to invite you all to come down and watch some great grassroots racing on the pavement. I'd like to ask you a favor. If you are planning on coming down to the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin to cheer on one or more of the competitors in this year's 25th anniversary Roy Ross Memorial, please buy your tickets online at eventbrite.ca or email royrossmemorial@gmail.com. All the purchases from either the online sales or through email, the proceeds go directly back to the racers of the show. Please support them and come on down and again watch some great racing. Thank you. And now we're going to watch a video of one of the competitors in this year's race. I'd like to thank Ian Burgess for doing the interviews and for providing them to the Roy Ross Memorial. Thank you. Enjoy.
Good evening, folks, and again, welcome to our series of driver interviews for the 25th running of the Roy Ross Memorial. This year's event will be held over 2 days, July 23rd and 24th, at Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin, Alberta. The goal of these interviews is to give you a chance to get to know the drivers and hear about their racing journey and what the Roy Ross Memorial means to them. My name is Ian Burgess, and I have had the pleasure of racing this event, as well as helping crew some of the championship-winning cars. Tonight, we welcome the 2020 and 2010 Roy Ross Memorial champion, Mr. Mike Clark. Mike, how are you doing?
Pretty good, Ian.
That's good. That's good. Maybe just talk a little bit about how you got started in racing. I know you're from a long line of family of racers, but maybe talk about how you got started and what brought you into the modified class.
Yeah, so absolutely. So it all started basically with my grandpa. He was racing, and then, of course, Dad got into it. Then Mom got into it, and they were racing here in Grand Prairie. And then when Grand Prairie track shut down, they were racing in Sangudo. And then Hythe opened up, and as soon as I was 16, we were in it too.
And so you started in the Enduro class, which is kind of like our starter stock class now. And then, if I'm not mistaken, you ended up getting a modified that I think your brother ran before. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I ran 2 years of starter stocks, and then BJ bought a new mod, and then I ended up taking his, which was before it was BJ's, it was Dad's modified too. So all three of us ran that car.
That's pretty cool. And you've been able to race with all your family basically at different times and things like that. Your Uncle Jeff used to race as well, and you've got to race him on the track. What is it? Maybe just talk a little bit about what it's like to get to race your brother and your dad and your mom and your uncle all in the same class of cars.
Yeah, it's really exciting, but yeah, family dinners can get a little tense after some races, but time passes and everything heals, so we'll be good.
Yeah. I know, and I've been around the family a bunch, and I know your dad and your brother can get a little heated sometimes, and I know that eventually Mikey will pop sometimes, but it's all good. Maybe talk about last year's Roy Ross Memorial. So I wasn't there. I saw it on YouTube, and Chad Malone calls you Superman for your 3-wide pass. Maybe just I don't even know if you knew what you were doing at the time. Maybe just talk about why you did what you did and how you made it work and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't planning on that move, but we went into the corner first 2 laps, and I almost hit the brakes so hard coming into the corner, it almost pushed me to the outside, trying to stay off the guy in front of me. And once I got out there, it just went for it, and it held and was able to drive to the front on 3 wide. So worked out good.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Anyone who hasn't seen it, go back and watch the video and check it out. You're one of 5 two-time winners, and we've had 124 different drivers compete in this event. And I know you've had your ups and downs in this event. What makes this event so hard to win more than once?
The hard thing is being in Wetaskiwin, especially, like, it is such a hard track to pass at. If there's so many good drivers out there right now too, so if you're starting near the back, you almost need something to happen up front for you to be able to have time, because 47 laps at that track goes so quick, and if you waste 5 laps, 6 laps on each person you're trying to pass, you're never going to make it to the front.
Yeah, it's tricky for sure. Todd sent me a note and said your first year was 2006, but it says you didn't start the main event. There were 36 cars, only 27 got to start the main. Do you remember what happened that race, or what happened that made it so you couldn't make the main event?
I don't even know. That one's got me baffled. I'm assuming that would have been one of the Calgary races, and I always had lots of issues up in Calgary, so who knows what happened back then.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the year I was helping you, and I think maybe one day was the Jaron Wolf, and one day was the Roy. No, that wasn't the weekend either. That was a different weekend. We had lots of fun and troubles down there.
Yeah, lots of
Calgary.
Calgary.
You've become pretty consistent at timing in really well at both EIR and Hythe. What's the secret to putting down really good time in laps at both tracks?
The right setup for sure. If you're off a little, even in, like, especially in Wetaskiwin, if you're off and your car's pushing, you just can't get back into the throttle. So just a lot of time put into the setup and hope for the best.
Yeah, and Wetaskiwin's tricky. That D shape, the corner 1, 2, you can deal with the push a little bit because you can let the car float a bit on the back. But 3, 4, if you're pushing and you try to get on the throttle too soon, you're going to be dancing with the wall, which is no fun. What about your 2010 win? So it was 10 years between wins. I'm sure you're hoping you don't have to wait another 10 before you win another one. But do you remember much about your first Roy Ross win?
Yeah, it worked out really good for me. I think I was leading by lap 1. I was only starting second row outside, and the car in front of me just pretty much shot straight to the wall in corner 1, 2, and just opened it right up for me to just drive on by. So
yeah, and I think like what you talked about, right? If someone can get out front early and drive smooth and consistent, it's really hard for the rest of the people at that track to catch up and to pass.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's tough. So this year, as you know, and as we've talked about before, 2-day event. So Friday night is going to be the Silver Star trucking special, and they're going to give out a big WWE belt. And I know you wouldn't hate to be wearing that belt on Saturday morning.
Right.
I know that wouldn't bother you at all. And then Saturday, Anu Gas Compression, Mark Burton, they've stepped up again, and they're helping out with the more traditional Roy Ross Memorial. And then they're going to do a full weekend points championship, and kind of like what we do at Super Nationals in Hythe. I see that Super Nationals trophy there behind you. Are you going to approach the weekend any different than you would normally approach the 1-day race?
No, absolutely not. I shouldn't say that, because this year I'm trying to run for track championships at both tracks. So I don't need any issues. So maybe be a little more patient, and where last year on 1-day run, if something happened, it happened. I got some more time to fix her up. But this weekend, if you catch yourself on Friday, you got a short amount of time to get ready for Saturday for the Roy Ross.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I just had an interview with Barry, and he said that, and I'm sure you would agree, the thing about Wetaskiwin is you have to be that kind of patient aggressive, right? You can't sit back too much, but you also have to, can't push too hard, because with that tight track and with so many cars on the track, you push a little bit too hard, and you can get quick flat tire or something like that, and that ruins your whole race.
Oh yeah, one flat tire and you're pretty much done. So
Yeah, it's tough. So I don't know if you heard, we're up to 19 cars. It sounds like now that'll probably be one of your biggest events you've ever ran at EIR. What's the challenge that comes with 19 cars on the track?
Oh, geez. Uh, once the faster cars do get up front, I think we're going to be coming around at the lap traffic with that many cars out there pretty quick. So there's going to be a lot of lap traffic to deal with. And I think you're always going to be in a crowd there, no matter where you are, whether you're leading or in the middle or at the back, you're always going to be in a crowd with 20 cars on that track.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty it'll be a special race for sure at that bull ring, and it'll be a lot of fun. Why do you? I know it's an important race for you. I know every year you try really hard to get out to this event. What is the reason that brings you to the Roy Ross Memorial time and time again?
Oh, it's just, I love to support the race, support Todd. A lot of people don't know, but yes, my dad was in Calgary when that happened. I think I was 13 years old. I was in the grandstands. So as soon as if we can get out to the race, we're there for sure. It takes something pretty serious for us to not make this show. Even a couple of years ago, I didn't have a car, and I found a car, and that was the 20th year, and found a car, got a car put together just so I can make that race.
Yeah, it's pretty a pretty special race, and again, I think people that were a part of that unfortunate day, right? It even has a little bit more meaningful place for them, but it's transformed into this big event, and I think big hats off to Todd Ross. He spends a ton of time, you know, promoting it on social media, coming up with all different giveaways and things like that, and he puts a ton of work in. You talked a little bit about your goals this year is to run full time at both tracks and hopefully go for a track championship at both tracks. Last year was a pretty good year for you. You ended up winning the Roy Ross Memorial, and then you backed all that up in Hythe too, and you won the Super Nationals and track championship there. Maybe just talk what went right last year and how you're going to try to duplicate that this year.
Yeah, so last year, it was a really short year, but we hit every weekend we were out, and no troubles all year. And that's kind of what we're looking for this year, because along with the 2-track championships, we're trying to hit that 12 races to run for Canadian. And we're at 13 races planned for this year. So that only gives me one day that I can throw away. So I need nice, clean, and upfront running all year.
Yeah, it's the Canadian Championship's a tough thing to win. I know you've chased it pretty hard for a lot of years and come real close a couple times. Maybe we squeeze you in a dirt car for a weekend or two.
There's been talk about it. Might have to try and find a few more races. So with Wetaskiwin and Hythe, 13 races is all I can get, and that's if there's no rain days and what sort, and no issues with the cars. So
yeah, for sure. Maybe just talk a little bit about I know for a year you shared the car with your mom. Maybe talk about what it was like to get your mom into a modified. I know she ran a street stock for a long time, and then finally made the jump to the modified. And I know you were a big push behind that and worked really hard to make sure, she fit in there well and all that kind of stuff. And it was tough because, your mom's a little bit different shape and size than you are. And so it wasn't just as simple as mom jump in and go. But what was it like? And I know you've had a few chances. What is it like getting a race with your mom, someone who is a pioneer for women in motorsports here in Western Canada and has done so much and still does more than the rest of us do at the racetrack?
Yeah, she's just amazing in every way there is, on the track, off the track. She does so much for everybody. I don't think Hythe would run without her. And I loved running with her. It was so much fun. Even running with her, running with my mom or my dad and my uncle, still running with BJ, not this year, but it's always fun to run with family, especially if you can have nice close racing and not get into those arguments at dinner, but it does happen. So
yeah, I mean, it's kind of inevitable. I mean, especially you and your brother BJ, you've ran a lot of laps side by side, and just the nature of both of you being is so competitive, and having good pieces and being prepared for races, it's led to that. But I think you would agree that, you know, probably 99% of the time it is good, clean, close racing, and we the fans are excited to watch it. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for helping you along your way? You know, family, friends, sponsors, anything like that?
Oh, definitely mom and dad. They're still a huge help to me. Dad crews every weekend. He's coming all year with me to help crew in Wetaskiwin. He's really the only crew guy I got with the car, and he's jumping right back in board. And he stopped coming out for a little while, but it seems like we've reeled him back into the racing. He's coming back, and definitely got to thank Pro West. They're a huge sponsor of mine and been with me since 2009 now. And they're still going strong and still loving it. So I love having them.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to have a sponsor stick around for that many years, and it helps a little bit when you put some of those trophies up on the back wall too. So thank you so much for this tonight, Mike. We hope that your season goes well. We hope you're able to get all those shows in and run your best, and the car will do what it's supposed to do. Again, big thank you for making some time for us tonight. I know you've been busy with work and all that kind of stuff, but we're excited to see that 92 car on the track. Are you heading to Wetaskiwin this weekend?
We are heading up this weekend.
That should be good. I hear there's going to be a decent field of cars, bunch of people getting some, you know, get the feel for it. First race of the year, and I hope that goes well. And again, we hope it doesn't take you 10 more years to win the third one. And I'm sure
That's
it'd
right.
be pretty cool to be the only 3-time winner of the Roy Ross Memorial.
That's right. That's what I'm looking for this year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mike. Again, we wish you all the best, and we hope you can have a great season like you did last year.
Right on. Thanks, Ian.